Hi, juniors. This is Miss Whitley, your RTC counselor. And in this workshop, we are going to talk about your personal statement, otherwise known as your college admission essay. I wanted to open up with a few quotes about writing that I thought were quite meaningful. My favorite on this page is the second one. Start writing no matter what. The water does not flow until the faucet is turned on. One of my biggest pieces of advice to struggling students when they just can't figure out how to get going and what to put on paper, just start. Just go. Just start writing. Start with any thought that you have. And from there, your brain gets flowing. You start to get a little bit more comfortable. And I promise you, once you start writing, it'll just keep coming out. And don't worry about writing perfectly, but just write. And you'll find yourself getting into a rhythm. And that's exactly what it's all about. So what is a personal statement or college admissions essay? Basically, it is your writing that goes along with your college application. And you will have to submit this for most, if not all, of the schools to which you're applying. I love the personal statement because it's an opportunity for colleges to truly hear your story. Everything else is your resume, your application, your test scores, your transcripts, all these things. But this is the chance that you get to actually say something to colleges. Apart from an actual face-to-face interview, this is your best opportunity to share your story and truly tell a college who you are. So the personal statement is a chance for you to do that and for them to really get a chance to connect with you and see what makes you special and unique. And so we want to make sure that we are creating a high quality essay that truly shows who you are and tells your story. So there are two central parts to your essay: your journey and your interests. So next year, when you come back to school in the fall, you will be completing the Common App as well as Apply Texas. These are two different application platforms, both of which will require you to write and submit your personal statement. So these are three of the Common App prompts that you will be able to choose from depending upon which school you are applying to. And this is one of the Apply Texas prompts. If you notice in bold, these are similar prompts. And basically, these are about your journey. So if you look at Apply Texas SAA, tell us your story. Tell us about, experiences or challenges that you have had and how they have shaped you. And if you look at Common App Prompt 1, it talks about your background or a talent or something that's so meaningful that basically it's telling your story, and you feel like if you didn't include this, your application will be incomplete. So these give you an opportunity to talk about your journey and your experiences that have shaped you and led you up to this point. Your interests. If you take a look at these other three Common App prompts and Apply Texas SAB, you have a chance to see that these are mostly about your passions, your interests, whether they're academic or personal, something you've accomplished, an event that made you think differently about something, a topic, an idea, or a concept that engages you or captivates your interest. These are also different prompts that you could write about to support your application. So what do colleges really want? So we're going to take a look at three things briefly here: context, fit, and writing ability. So when you create your essay, you want to be keeping these three things in mind. The first, context. So first off, are you even writing about what the prompt has asked you to write about? And are you writing about yourself and telling us something unique about you, or telling your story within the appropriate context? Can the college admissions rep hear your voice? Do they get a sense of who you are as a person? So you want to make sure that you are writing about you and not telling a story about solely focused on your dog, or just about this class you took, or just about your mom or a sibling or a friend. It needs to be about you. Now, of course, they can be included in your writing. If you wanted to talk about how much you love your mom or how much you love your dog, or about a particular experience that you had in a class, that's great, but it needs to be primarily focused on you and how that experience or that person influenced you, or how you admire them and how that has helped shape you as a person. The next thing is fit. So when a college admissions rep is reading your essay, they are looking for skills and talents and abilities that are going to be reflected through your writing. And they also want to know, will you be a good fit, and what kind of contributions can you make on a college campus? Will you thrive there? So as you are exploring finding the right fit in a college, they are also wanting to make sure that you are a right fit as well. So you want to, have a perfect match there. And so through your writing, they are looking for things that indicate what kind of person you would be on the campus, what meaningful contributions you might make, and how you would fit into their college environment and community. And of course, just with anything else, it's really important to put your best foot forward and submit quality work. So you want to make sure there are no spelling errors, that you are using correct grammar and punctuation. Does your writing flow? Does it make sense? Are your thoughts being presented in a logical way? So as you approach your writing, it's important to go through this process here. So you're going to brainstorm. You're going to then organize your thoughts. You want to make sure that you have key examples that are supporting your thoughts. And then you're going to edit like crazy. You're going to edit. You're going to get feedback from your RTC counselors, from your teachers, and then you're going to go back and edit again. You're going to get more feedback. You're going to make sure that you have the appropriate spelling, grammar, and flow. And then once you feel good about that process, you're going to submit. So the thing I want to point out here is that a draft is a draft is a draft is a draft, and you will edit it and edit it and edit it and edit it several times and revise it before it is ready for final submission. So what happens is if you get stuck. As I mentioned earlier when I opened up with that quote, I like that one especially because if you feel like, things are just not flowing, just keep writing and let things come out. And don't necessarily worry about initially, if it's flowing just yet. Just get all your thoughts out there. Some other things you can do if you get stuck is work with a friend or a mentor. And you could have them interview you about your topic, and you can type as you talk. One thing that I found helpful, and a lot of students have found helpful in the past, is sometimes if you can't get with someone, just sit down and record yourself. So tell your story and record yourself, go back and listen to it, and then you can write out what you heard, and that can also help you when you feel like you are challenged in your writing. A few other things on this list you can take a look at. But one I want to point out is just if you get overwhelmed, make sure you take care of yourself. Take a break. Go outside, listen to some music, read a book, draw, participate in something that you're interested in to kind of get out of this space if you get stuck. And then you'll feel better as you come back to your writing. You'll feel refreshed, you won't feel stressed, and you'll feel motivated and inspired to keep going. So we're going to do a few activities in this workshop to hopefully help you either refine your existing personal statement that you may have written already in your RTW classes, or to help you start from scratch in creating a new one that you'll feel confident about submitting in just a few weeks. So round one, we're going to take a look at exploring your why. Round two is going to be brainstorming, as well as reading some example personal statements from some of your classmates or your fellow Infinity students and reflecting on those. And then round three is going to be creating an outline to help organize your writing. All right, so let's get going. What is your why? A lot of times I found that students, when they write, they're not going deep enough. They're not going into the layers, and it seems like surface writing, and you can't really see meaning and depth in what they're saying. So, through this explorative activity, hopefully, this will help you write with more meaning and take you to deeper levels of exploring your why so that your writing has a better context and is a better essay. So let's take a look at this example. So if you look at the top here under what, well, I'm trying to go to college. So sometimes students start off their writing, I want to go to college. Okay, so how are you doing that? Well, I'm working on my Common App. Well, why are you working on your Common App? Well, I want to become a physical therapist. Well, why do you want to become a physical therapist? Well, I want to support young people on their journey to healing from sports related injuries. Well, why? I tore my ACL my freshman year playing volleyball, and I had an excellent physical therapist who encouraged me and inspired me to be even better than I was before. So, if you notice, by asking the question why over and over again, we went from, well, I want to go to college, so I'm doing my Common App, to finding out about a specific experience that this individual had that inspired them to want to become a physical therapist because they themselves had to heal from an injury that they got playing volleyball, and they recovered from that injury and were motivated to pursue a career in physical therapy because of their own experience. So this provides a specific example and gives great detail to a college admissions rep because it provides insight and context into who you are and something that you experienced and how you overcame it. Let's look at another example. So let's say you want to be a doctor. Well, how? Well, I'm going to go to my dream school, University of California at Berkeley. Well, why? I want to be involved in their STEM program. Well, why? Well, I want to have opportunities to do research. Why? I want to better understand asthma and potential cures. Why does that matter? Well, my sister was in the hospital for her asthma, and I felt like we had more questions than there were answers. And I was curious, and it made me want to help kids like my sister have a better quality of life. So once again, do you see how by asking the question why over and over again, you're pulling out more and more information. It's getting more and more specific to you and offering a picture or a window, if you will, into who you are and what a particular experience was. And this is going to be truly helpful for admissions rep because again, this is you telling your story, and it's the only opportunity you will get to say what it is you really want to say and to help them have a better understanding of who you are. So in this quick activity, you're going to start with your what and work through the why of these questions. So if you look at the different questions on the right, choose one or two and just practice. So what do I value? Or what is my ultimate goal? What am I most proud of? What is my favorite activity, interest, or passion? I personally like the action hero question. So you could play around with a couple of these and draw out your why and keep digging deeper and deeper and asking why. And you'll find through this activity that you provide lots of context, you're sharing a specific experience, and it's helping someone to learn more about who you are. Have fun. All right, our second activity is a brainstorm. So now that you are finding your why, you are going to take a look at the Common App prompts or the Apply Texas prompts and see which one most closely aligns with your why. So you can go back to some of the previous slides, which showed the Common App and Apply Texas prompts, or you can Google Common App and Apply Texas prompts, and you can see them all there. So take a look at the prompts. Think about your why that you pulled out of the previous activity and see which one is the most closely connected. Remember, the Common App prompts and the Apply Texas prompts are basically grouped into two different themes or categories: your journey, so your story, and your interests. So once you've picked your prompt, take 3 minutes and then write down any thoughts, sentences, or words or memories that you might have relative to that particular prompt. After you write down the words or thoughts that you have about that prompt, now go even further and write 2 to 3 more thoughts or words or sentences. And so after you do this, you'll see that through those brainstorming moments that you're finding and developing a story, which is really cool. So along with this presentation in Google Classroom, you have a link to some of our favorite essays written by some of your fellow Infinity scholars. So seniors that have graduated in our college and some of the current seniors, these stories we picked and thought that they'd be fun for you to read and take a look at to give you an example of some of the writings that some of your peers have submitted. So I put 5 essays up on Google Classroom. Just take a look at 1 or 2, and I want you to reflect and think about, what do you notice about the way that they're written? What do you notice about what it says? What is the story that it's telling? And is there anything that resonates with you? Do you connect with this story? Why or why not? So take a look at a few of the essays and just reflect, and hopefully it'll give you some real solid examples of the different types of writing and the different types of experience that scholars are writing about, and help you be able to pursue your own writing from there. Everybody has a story to tell, and everybody has something unique about them. So many unique things that you have. And so I hope that these stories inspire you to find that unique story within yourself. All right, the last thing that we're going to do is take a look at outlining your writing. So again, you're going to start writing, you're going to brainstorm, you're going to let your writing flow and just get it all out there on paper. And then we're going to organize your writing by using an outline. So you want to make sure that, your writing flows and is organized quite well. And so you want to typically open up with a hook, or your thesis statement, or whatever your topic is. The next thing you're going to do is have your body. This is just like the writing that you've been doing in your English classes and your humanities classes for years. So what I've included here are 3 different approaches that you can take to organizing your essay. The first one is the typical narrative approach. And if you look at that, which is basically writing in an order of which the events happen. So you set the stage, here's what happened basically, and then you talk about what was the conflict, what was the impactful moment, and then you go into the resolution. So that's writing in chronological order. The second style you could use is the 3 things approach, or also called the montage approach. So basically what you do is, whatever your thesis is that you opened up with, the next paragraph is the first examples that support that thesis. The following paragraph would be the next examples that support that thesis. And then the final paragraph in that body is the final evidence or support for that thesis. And then you close. And then the third approach that you could take is called the what, how, now approach. So after you start off with your hook or your introduction, then you move into, here's the event that I'm talking about. The next paragraph is how that event challenged or impacted you. And then now here's my perspective, or here's what I learned. Here's what I'm going to do about that moving forward. Or here are my goals as a result of that particular event. So either of these three different styles will set you up for success and allow your writing to flow in a way that makes sense. And then you, of course, will conclude by revisiting your thesis, revisiting your topic, and then you could close out with, so here's what I want to then do in college with this, or here's what I want to study, and I chose this college because. That's another option, but you don't have to mention there, but it's a nice way to conclude your essay. So you can take one of your brainstorms that you felt, after you do this, take one of your brainstorms that you felt you would want to include and develop as your essay, and then think about how that brainstorm, where would that fit in one of these particular areas of your outline. Before we go, I wanted to give you some additional resources. So you have this workshop, you have the link to the essays written by some of your peers, and College Essay Guy is one of the greatest resources out there, in my opinion. He's fun, he's really good at lots of brainstorming activities to help you develop your writing. So I would encourage you to research College Essay Guide. Take a look at this link. He also has lots of samples that you can use and read, again, to help develop your thinking or to get ideas about different experiences you could write about. The second one is on the Hamilton Essays That Work website, and there's lots of essays here that were really successful, written by former high school students that reps loved, and it tells you why these essays were good and why they enjoyed them. So that can also be a good resource and tool for you. All right, the next thing we're gonna do is turn it in. So you are going to submit your rough draft of your personal statement to Google Classroom. Again, I know that some of you in your RTW class have already turned in a draft, so you can either use this workshop and the activities and the resources to go back and make sure that you have done a good job on your draft, make some edits, and turn that back in. Or if you want to take this time to completely start over and write a new statement, a new essay, feel free to do that as well. The idea is to use this information, use your new understanding, your new information to go back and write a better essay. I want to remind you that all this is a work in progress. We're going to edit, 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 edit. They don't need to be perfect. Just make sure that you are putting forth your best effort and that you are truly including your why and telling your story that shows who you truly are. The draft of this personal statement is going to be due on Friday, April 17th by midnight. So you have some time to work on this. And again, if you want to use your other essay that you've already turned in, feel free to make some changes to that and make sure it is really telling your story and that it flows and that it's organized and outlined quite well. And make sure that it is aligned to one of the, either the Common App or Apply Texas prompts, or again, you can start over from scratch and write a new one. So you'll turn this draft into Google Classroom by Friday, April 17th, and stay tuned for next steps. You will have a feedback and revision virtual meeting with someone from the RTC team. Good luck in your writing, guys. And if you need any support through this process, or if you have any questions, please reach out to me. Have a wonderful day.